You're listening to the Patriot Nation Podcast.
Welcome into another edition of the Patriot Nation Podcast. Your boy Pat Lane with you as always. And as always, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel, the official sports wagering partner of CLNS Media. Go to fanduel.com/Boston to sign up today. And with me today, Matt is traveling this week. And so pinch hitting for Matt is a guy that we know and love on the podcast, one of my favorite co-hosts of all time. And that is Keagan Stiefel, digital content producer at NESN, kids killing it now, all over your news feed. We love it. Keagan, thanks so much for coming back on. It's a pleasure to see you again, sir.
The boy's back. I'm very excited. I'm taking a break from my PWHL insider propaganda that I've been posting to go back to my roots and talk some Patriots football. Unfortunately, there's a reason why I don't talk about it as much as I used to, but I'm ready. Yeah. I've got takes. I got to get these takes off.
Do it. This is what we're here for, man. We're here for. Matt's welcoming you back. Gary's saying hello. Gary, I just sent Gary a hat because he won our trivia contest, which we will do more trivia at the end of the show. But he won our trivia contest all the way out in jolly old England. That was not cheap. Sending him a hat to England. But hey,
$40 package in the middle.
We appreciate him listening. He's a loyal listener, and we appreciate it. So I will gladly pay the shipping cost to get it overseas to him. So here we are. Hey, the good news is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the good news is the Patriots did not lose this weekend. That was huge. That was a big week. It's a big week, man. And I'll tell you, I went to go see Shrek the Musical with the kids on Sunday. Didn't really care about football, although I will tell you it was awfully nice to see the Chiefs lose last night. It was really nice to see the Chiefs lose last night. But I just didn't watch a lot of the 1 o'clock games, and there's whatever stuff going on. But I don't know. I don't know if people feel the same way. Maybe you feel the same way, Keagan. Football just hasn't been the same this year.
Yeah, I mean, in the past couple of years, I've kind of learned to love the sport more than individual teams or players or whatever. And even that, it seems like the level of play is down. There's something that's hit me in the past couple of years where I enjoy the college game so much more than I enjoy the NFL game. And I think it's because whether it be like rule changes or level of quarterback play, which we're going to get into, it's just not the same. And maybe that's me getting older a little bit. Everybody hits that age where you hate the things you love, like how baseball fans hate baseball.
Yeah.
I think I've gotten to that point with the NFL, but I can confidently say the level of play across the board is down
for sure,
which is, it's not quite as fun to watch, especially in the middle, like these grind out months, end of October, November, early December. It's just not great content to watch.
It really isn't. It really isn't. And you're right that the level of play is down. And obviously the Patriots have been terrible and Mac Jones has been awful, but he's far from the only quarterback in the league that has been bad this year. There's been a lot of really bad quarterbacks in the league. A lot of really bad quarterbacks.
Just look at his draft class.
Right. Yeah.
You got 3 or 4 right there.
Well, and not just that, but then you look at Kenny Pickett's been awful. And that team just is terrible. Offensively, at least, they've been awful. And it's just it's very frustrating to see. And, it's funny because Tom Brady came out, yesterday or today, I don't know, today or yesterday, and talking about how, the game isn't as fun as it used to be and things are litigated and this and that and so on and so forth. And people are like, well, the Brady rule is, first of all, let's clear something up. Okay. If anyone ever tells you that the low hit on a quarterback is the Brady rule, they're lying to you. That's the Carson Palmer rule. That was because Carson Palmer got taken out in a divisional round game, I believe in 08. Was it no, I believe it was 06. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Could have been even 05. It was one of those years.
Yeah.
They were really good. They were playing the Steelers. First quarter, He gets taken out low, tears the ACL in the playoffs. So then he misses half the season the next year, and the Bengals were never the same after that. And so, like, that really started with Carson Palmer. And then, of course, it happened to Brady at the beginning of 2008. And so when you see those things kind of generate, it's like, hey, maybe that play isn't safe. Maybe we should take care of the quarterback. I agree with that. I don't mind not being able to hit him low. I think not being able to touch his helmet is stupid. The one that really drives me crazy is the one that they're not even penalizing, but then they're fining guys $15,000 for lowering their head and hitting someone. It's just stupid. It's just like, what are we doing? Like, it's a regular. The Mac Wilson one last week was like, I'm looking at it like, what happened, right? And so I think it was Matt Chatham, and I forget what running back it was, but it was like a backup running back that got fined like $12,000, and he's like. So
Jaylen Warren, he's been fined like 4 times this
That's
year.
what it was. So Jaylen Warren, he goes, his comment was like, I honestly don't know who Jaylen Warren is. And he's like, if you watch this play, you don't know who it is either, because nothing happens on this play with anybody. And he gets fined $15,000 for it. And it's like, what the hell are we doing?
Jaylen Warren, you should know who he is. He's awesome. He's better than Najee Harris. But other than that, I think with that rule specifically, I can understand it. Because it's not protecting the players they're hitting. You're protecting the player that's delivering the hit. Because if you're doing this when you're going to hit somebody,
right?
That's how Ryan Shazier, his career ended, and that's the reason they put that rule in. And I understand that, but they're not enforcing it correctly. That's the issue. Is when Jaylen Warren hits you head up, like he's hitting you with his eyes. That's about as safe as a hit as you can deliver, unless you're going straight shoulder pad. So I think. That's another thing. We talked about the level of play being down. The officiating has been horrendous across the board. Every team has a gripe with an official that probably cost them a game is how bad it's been. It's one of those things where the NFL is not really being proactive about fixing the officiating. They're being proactive about fixing the things that go around the officials.
Right.
And it's because it's so nauseating and annoying trying to keep up with it. It's just better to be like, whatever, I'm not going to pay attention. I'll go watch the NBA or whatever.
Yeah.
Or college football, where those rules suck too, but at least, most people have less of an interest around here.
Well, right. And that's very true, right? College football, people care less about it up here. I grew up around here, right? So that's why I'm not really a college football fan. I know you grew up in Texas, so you're, a bigger college football fan than some. And I look, I see the appeal of it. One of the things I like about college football is that you never know. You just never know what's going to happen. And it's similar in the NFL, but like, some ranked team is playing some terrible unranked team and all of a sudden they get upset. You know what I mean? And so those things do tend to happen because, outside of the top 15 guys on every team are just guys that are never going to play in the league for the most part. Right. And so you never know what happens when you get those guys. If one injury happens, now all of a sudden you have guys that like can't play and aren't that good going against, whatever. So, but yeah, the officiating's been brutal. And it's one of those things. And I think you said it perfectly that like every single team has a gripe. It's not like you can't watch. And look, the Patriots have been terrible anyway. So like, even if you wanted to make an argument about, they got screwed out of this and they got screwed out of that, which by the way, I do think like there were a few plays at the beginning of the year where you're like, well, the Cole Strange one's like, just give him the freaking first down, dude. He's right there. It's so hard to tell whether he had the first down or not. And I always feel like, and it's stupid, but I always feel like if there's an awesome play and it's super close and you have to like watch it 100 times to see if he like had it or not, just give it to him. It was an awesome play. Like just keep the awesome play in. You know what I mean? And so, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. But I do think it's interesting that like it's not slanted in one way or the other. It's just like the officials are just really bad and they're inconsistent, which is even worse to me because it's like sometimes what's a penalty on one play isn't a penalty on the next play. And you're like, well, you just called that a penalty. How come it's not? That's the frustrating stuff where it's like, I don't know. And now you're talking about, well, the hip drop tackles aren't going to be allowed anymore. But it's like, well, so you can't like.
How do you tackle a guy?
That's the thing. You can't hit him high. You can't hit him low. You can't lower your shoulder. You can't lower your head. And you can't roll when you tackle him. So now what? Like, are we going to play two-hand touch? Like, I don't understand. By the way, Gary, just comment down there. Gary, I did email them to try to see if I can change the address on there. So I will get back to you and let you know. Sorry for not emailing you back. I apologize. So anyways, it's stupid. It's dumb. And the rules that they're changing drive me a little crazy. So it is what it is. And look, I understand where this all started from. By the way, it didn't start because of Tom Brady. It started because of Bill Polian. So he's the guy to blame, not Tom Brady. Okay, I know that by now most football fans have forgotten who Bill Polian is, but he is the one responsible for the new age rule changes because he couldn't beat the Patriots in the playoffs, and so he had the NFL change the rules.
Historically bad it takes Bill Polian. Every time he was on TV, it was he was wrong. You look back. The Lamar Jackson, famously, Lamar Jackson should be a wide receiver. Soon to be two-time MVP, Lamar Jackson.
Incredible. What a take. Not even a running back, a wide receiver.
Yeah.
What a take.
Guy's never caught a ball in his life. Let's convert him to wide receiver. We just won the Heisman. Sure.
Crazy. Just crazy. But I love it. So, all right, let's get into the Patriots because this is a Patriots show.
Believe it or not.
So, and Keagan, you had tweeted out that, the Patriots have a shot at the number 3 pick. Right now they're drafting 4th. Well, actually, right now they're drafting 3rd, technically, right? And the Giants, I think they're...
Yeah, it's like percentage points. It's
strength of schedule or whatever.
Whatever
right?
is happening now, it's not going to matter at the end of the year.
Correct. So, by losing to the Giants leapfrog you or stay in front of you or whatever you want to say, and the Patriots are firmly at 3 and the Giants are at 4. You had tweeted out, start Mac Jones because we need to lose this game. and I think that, I know it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but, I don't know. I mean, do we go for the tank? And if we go for the tank, does that mean just playing the guys we've been playing right now?
Yeah, I think with the quarterback thing, and it's going to be the story not just this week, but moving forward for the rest of the season. It doesn't matter of the 4 options, because you do have 4 options. Malik Cunningham, whether you like it or not, he's an option.
Yep.
Of the 4 options, I don't think there's a single one who puts you in a better position, and it's for different reasons. Malik Cunningham's never played an NFL snap at quarterback, really. He did a couple wildcat snaps. He's never thrown the ball. So that's like throwing him right into the fire. With Will Grier, it's a lack of reps within the offense. He's been here for a while, and he probably understands the offense pretty well, but he's gotten no reps with who are the ones right now. Maybe a couple of them a few weeks ago when they weren't starting, but the Kendrick Bourne injury bumps people up, whatever that may be. He just doesn't have the familiarity. Bailey Zappi, we've seen it's been a disaster. His first 2 starts were great. His coming in relief, he was really good. Those first 3 games, he played well. And then the Chicago game, it kind of all blew up in his face, and he's been bad since. They kind of put him in a brand new offense. They drafted him into the Patricia offense, thinking he might be able to run it a little bit better than who they had, like Brian Hoyer. And then they switched the offense back, and he had to completely learn a new offense, just like Mac Jones has. And I think, believe it or not, Mac Jones has done a better job learning the offense than Bailey Zappi has. So Zappi's been a disaster, and then Mac Jones has been a disaster. And we've seen it on the field. We've seen it. I have a hard time being critical of the specific things I see because I've never done it before, but it's very clear that he doesn't trust himself. He's become scared in the pocket. He doesn't trust his offensive line, and he tries to bail himself out by just getting the ball out of his hands. And it's like, he does it in the worst way possible. I mean, everybody saw the Gesicki throw or the underthrow to not Mike Gesicki, who was wide open in the back of the end zone. And that's just kind of been the encapsulation of what he's been this year. We've seen failed screen passes. If you guys remember the Ezekiel Elliott fumble from earlier in the year, Ezekiel Elliott probably has that ball tucked away if the ball's delivered to him on a 3-yard screen with no one in front of him. But Jones gets happy feet, throws it way out wide. He has to grab it with one hand and then never tucks it away and fumbles the ball. It's little things like that we've seen time and time again. And I have a hard time if I were the Patriots and wanting to win football games, believing that he would be the one that could do it. Yeah. So that's why I tweeted that out, because I think if you genuinely want to win, you would try something new. It's right. The definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. At this point with this team and with who he's been, he just can't get the job done. Can Zappy or Greer or Cunningham? Probably not. I think this team is a 4-win team at best from this point in the season. I thought they were going to eclipse their win total. It was at 6.5.
Yeah.
To start the year, I thought they would breeze by it.
Easy money.
And I was wrong. Dead wrong. There's no way they get there now. They'd have to basically sweep the season, which isn't going to happen. And I just don't see them winning many games because everything that they've done has been incorrect to this point in the season. And you don't just fix it in 1 week. The bye week's not going to fix that. So with the who should be QB1 the rest of the way, Mac Jones has lost the job, but no one else has earned it. Right. So keep letting him lose it. Let him convince you to go out and get a real quarterback, and not just a real quarterback, but multiple. I don't think you can. Any of the guys on your roster can be your backup next year. Maybe Millie Cunningham, depending on who you draft. If you end up getting a Caleb Williams, that might work out. It might be a good or style fit, but they're going to have to completely overhaul the QB room after this year. So it doesn't really matter who the starter is, but I just keep Mac in there.
Yeah, so my only issue with keeping Mac in, there's a few of them, right? And Light Engine mentioned that he's broken, and it's going to get worse. And I agree. My biggest thing is this. You benched Mac after the Gesicki throw, right? Rightfully so. That is, and I've said it on here, and I said it on, and I tweeted it out, and that might be the worst throw I've ever seen at any level. At any level of football, that might be the worst throw I've ever seen. I mean, Mac Jones is at the 10-yard line and underthrew Mike Gesicki by 7 yards. I mean, how is that even possible? Like, it's insane to even think about. So, okay, that was really bad. They bench him. Then they go out and try to win the game in the 2-minute warning, which, of course, they can't do with no timeouts and, Bailey Zappi on the field. I mean, let's be serious. Why are you putting Bailey Zappi out there in the first place? Right? So this is one of those things where we talk about, has Belichick lost it? And is Belichick losing his fastball? And is he not a good coach anymore? And these are the things that you question is okay, I know as bad of a play as that was with Mac Jones, it's the worst play, again, that I've ever seen at any level. If you're not benching him the rest of the way, why are you putting your backup in down by less than a touchdown with a 2-minute offense? Well, Bailey Zappi hasn't run the 2-minute offense all year long. He doesn't know how to run it. He doesn't get any snaps in practice. So now he's going out running an offense that he doesn't run. You're putting him in an impossible situation for absolutely no reason. Why? Because Mac Jones threw a terrible pass, which he 100% did. But if you're going to stay with him as your starting quarterback, well, then why the hell don't you just leave him out there and just say, Jesus Christ, that was awful. But now you get a chance to redeem yourself here. And, let's see what you can do. By benching him in that moment. And listen, I said this at the Bears game last year. When they put Mac Jones in, the fans were out for blood, and you benched Mac Jones. And I said, at that moment, Mac Jones' career in New England's over. It's done. He's done. I thought he'd never start again in New England. He did. He hasn't started well in New England. He hasn't played well in New England since that moment. And really, if you want to go back, and Matt kind of brings it back all the way back to the Colts game, his rookie year. But whatever, right? Wherever you want to look at it, to me, that was the moment that I was like, that's it. He's toast. His career here is over. For all intents and purposes, you can't do that to him. And they did on national television. And then you're going to pull the same crap and then what? Put him back in? That's insane to me.
And I think that's a bigger indictment on Mac Jones than it is on the Patriots. If you can't get benched for poor play and come back and redeem yourself, then you're not an NFL quarterback.
Right.
It's just the way it is. I mean, we've seen it. Other teams have done this before. People have gotten benched and they've come back and they've been better for it. Drew Brees famously got benched on multiple occasions in San Diego.
Right.
And he didn't really figure it out in San Diego until his last year there, where he put up all-pro numbers. He was the best quarterback in the NFL in 2005, I believe. It was 04 or 05.
I think it was 05.
Yeah, it was 04 or 05. He was the best quarterback in the NFL when he had Phillip Rivers breathing down his neck.
Yeah.
And they still let him go, and he went on to have a Hall of Fame career. This is a guy who got benched, I believe it was 3 times the year before in Phil Rivers' rookie season. They kept going back to Phil Rivers. They kept going back to Drew Brees. and I'm not trying to compare these two guys, but that's the difference between somebody who can get the job done and who can be a franchise quarterback, and a kid who has at every step of the way, every turn has shown that he's not capable of doing it. And that might sound harsh, but that's just he's proven that. I don't think you can argue it. And there will be people who will argue that because it's Mac Jones, it's the quarterback, and they'll fight with him to the death. But I just don't see him. I haven't seen the response from him that you would need to see out of a starting quarterback. And it's just not worth continuing to try to make him the starter. Does that mean you can't start him in these games? No, because who cares if you win or lose these games? Who cares if you win them? You should want to lose them. But he's not capable of being the guy. So stop wasting your time with him. In terms of actually putting resources into his development. I think if this was a team in contention, they would have cut bait weeks ago, but they're not. And right now they're just biding time for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure what you meant by the last comment, Light Engine, but okay. I agree with you. Like, he's definitely not the guy, and he's shown that. And I think that, I'm not making excuses for Mac Jones, and I'm not sitting here saying that, whatever. I thought it was the wrong decision on that Monday night game to start Mac Jones in the first place. There was no reason to do it. The entire fan base wanted Bailey Zappi. He had played really well for 2 games. Mac Jones really wasn't ready to come back, I didn't think. You could tell. I mean, he played the game. You could tell that he wasn't 100%. There was no reason to put him out there. Put out Bailey Zappi. And I said this at the time, like, if Bailey Zappi had sucked against the Bears, everyone would have woken up Tuesday and said, wow, that sucked, but we're ready for Mac Jones. We're getting Mac Jones back. That's good. Instead, you put out Mac Jones, and he sucked. Whether he was hurt or not, it doesn't matter. Then you bench him and put in Zappi, and he sucked. And then you wake up on Tuesday, and you're like, well, crap, our team's terrible. You know what I mean? It's just like, it gives a completely different feel to the game. So to me, it's very frustrating to see the decisions that Belichick has made these last few years and to look at it and not – I think it's challenging to not question what Belichick has done, right? And I love Bill Belichick. He's the greatest coach of all time. I don't think there's any question about that. And I know people, he does this and whatever. You can argue against the wall if you want. He's the greatest coach of all time. And he's proven that, I think. And at this point, I've switched places, and I'm thinking, I want Bill Belichick to go somewhere that he can win so that he can prove he can win without Tom Brady. And, and look, has his GM skills deteriorated? Absolutely. I mean, and this is the thing, right? We talk about the scouting staff. And of course, there's been a lot of turnover in the scouting, and Bob Quinn's gone, and J. Rob's gone, and, Monty's gone, and Nick Casaro's gone, and, whatever, right? People have come and gone. But, they found a lot of talent. For a long time, they were really good at finding talent. And now they're not as good at it, right? And so it's like, yeah, okay, a lot of people have come and gone, but I don't know. I don't know why. I'm not sure what the problem is, but I just think that I don't know. I don't know what the issue is, but I do think that it's time to move on from Bill Belichick. And who do you bring in? I have no clue, no idea who you bring in. But again, I want them to trade him to imagine Bill Belichick in LA. Just imagine for a second.
No chance he puts on that powder blue ass.
Oh my God.
That stupid jacket.
That would be so good, dude. That team has so much talent, and they just suck every year. And if you brought Belichick out there, imagine if they had a competent defense. That'd be awesome. Their team would be great. And they do it every year, man. Brandon Staley sucks. Imagine, it'd be so great. It'd be so great. And people talking about Washington, and that's fine, but Washington doesn't have a real chance to win anything. And I guess, LA's got to play the Chiefs twice a year. I get it. It's not an easy road for them either. But at least you give him a chance somewhere. I want him to go somewhere where he has a chance to win something in the next few years.
I think, and this might be my. He was the coach when I was born here, so I don't know anything else. I don't think there's a world where he wants to coach anywhere else.
Yeah.
I really don't. And people will say like he loves coaching so much, so if they don't want him, he'll go somewhere else. I think if they don't want him, he'll go to Nantucket and continue having a hell of a time like we've seen he has. And I just can't see him do it anywhere else. But I do agree with the talent evaluator that he is gone. And I think he knows what a talented football player is. I don't think he knows how to evaluate athletes and to implement them into a system that's successful in this age of the NFL. And we've seen, I think Matt Groh is a great guy. We're 2 drafts in, and they both look horrendous. We're talking like 3 good players and 20 picks. Like,
Well, don't you talk bad about my guy Marcus Jones. Don't do it.
no, I won't. But you can't call him a good player because he can't stay on the field. You know what I mean? Like, you can't call him a hit. I think he's a good player. He's not a hit.
Right. So is Christian Gonzalez a hit or no? Because he's hurt.
He's one of the good players.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm counting him. But that goes to show you how bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think Marcus Jones has proven
really
he can't stay on the field. It's 2 years now where he's ended the season injured. Christian Gonzalez had a freak injury where a guy landed on his own shoulder, making a great tackle and broke his scapula or whatever it was.
Right.
I think he can evaluate football players, and that's like a Christian Gonzalez pick, right? That kid is a pure cover corner.
Mm-hmm.
He can do the job, and it doesn't really matter how great of an athlete he is because he's a little bit like Stephon Gilmore, where he's not going to beat anybody in a 40-yard dash, but he'll lock your ass down. Good football player.
Yeah.
A Tyquan Thornton type, where you're trying to draft and develop somebody who has impeccable speed. He's probably one of the fastest players in the NFL. He doesn't know how to run routes.
Right.
And they can't teach him how to run routes for some reason. We've got one of the greatest route runners in Patriots history as the wide receivers coach. Can't teach this kid how to run a route. And I think that's where the issue lies.
Yeah.
Is that the coaching staff around Belichick? Is that the evaluators that drafted those players? Is that a Belichick thing where he's not delegating enough and he's not allowing his assistants to do what they need to do to make people successful? No one has the answer to that outside the building. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what makes these things so frustrating, especially for fans, because they see it and they get so frustrated, but they don't know why it's happening. It's like a baby. When a baby doesn't know why, like, they're hungry and they don't know how to tell you they're hungry.
It's true.
So it sucks. And it sucks to watch because you saw them work so well at every level for 20 years. And in the last 3 years, that's completely gone.
Yeah. And
so, like I said, he can't I don't think he can do both jobs.
Yeah.
To the level that he did at one point.
Yeah.
Will he be willing to give one of them up? Would he be willing to want to just try it somewhere else? I don't know. I don't see either one happening. I think he's going to finish it out here and they'll let him. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we'll have to see.
Yeah. And you certainly might be right. I mean, look, here, there's no way you can take the GM. There's no way you can take it away from him here. You just can't. No. Because what you'd have to do is you'd have to replace the entire scouting staff.
Yeah.
Because they all answer to him. So you'd have to bring in all new guys to say, like, okay, we're bringing in a whole, and maybe not the entire staff, but like at least the guy at the top, the 2 or 3 guys at the top, like you have to at that situation because it's always been what Bill says. If you're going to leave him here and take the GM duties away from him, you got to hire a new GM. And that doesn't make any sense to me. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Gary says, the Cowboys, like Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells did it at the end of his career. You never know. Bill Belichick could do it at the end of his. Imagine they lose in the first round again with another talented team. And then
if you want to look at the latest comment, that's my answer to that. Jerry and Bill are oil and water.
Listen, I totally agree. But Jerry and Bill Parcells oil and water too, and that lasted for a few years. I mean, it wasn't much, but it lasted for a few years.
It went terrible.
It did go terrible. You're right. It's not. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It went terrible.
They found Romo.
They did.
Romo
so that was good.
But
it's just it's one of those things. It's challenging for me. I don't know the right answer. I'm not sure we're gonna get to that right answer. I'm not sure we're gonna know because frankly, if you let Belichick go and bring in another coach, well, now you got to hit the draft. There's not a lot of talent. So, like, what if they don't hit on the draft? Or what if they do it? Like, how do you know? Right. And like, that's really what it comes down to, is that how will you know that the guy is successful? Not until he's been here for 3 or 4 years. And you have a guy like Brandon Staley and you're like, Jesus Christ, this guy's terrible and we can't win with him. Like,
and we talk about, a 3 or 4 year window. That's what you need to see if somebody's going to be successful.
Right.
It's only been 3 or 4 years since Brady left.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? And it's not getting better. It's getting worse. So you can see kind of the trajectory it's going in. But there's still kind of an aspect to that where it's like, are you really things are going to bottom out because you lost the greatest football player of all time? No shit. How are you going to respond to that? It hasn't gone well so far. They've had one crack at the quarterback thing.
Yep.
It was too late in 2020 to really figure it out. They couldn't go and draft one. They signed Cam Newton. You know where I stand on Cam Newton. That team was awful. And if Cam Newton wasn't a shell of himself physically, he could still get the job done.
Right.
But and Mac Jones outplayed Cam Newton going into 2021. He was good in his rookie season.
Yeah.
Fell off a cliff after that. So you're back at square one, and you've really gotten one try at the quarterback thing. I would feel much more confident giving Belichick that crack than, Gerard Mayo and some outside hire as a GM, or Mike Vrabel, like people like to float out there. He doesn't really have a great track record of trying to find quarterbacks in Tennessee.
No.
He didn't find Ryan Tannehill. And he's 0 for 2 in the draft so far. Will Levis, stinks. We'll see. But, yeah.
And Ryan Tannehill stinks. So it's not like,
He had one good season. Malik Willis has done nothing.
Right. Right. Yeah.
We're talking about a net zero.
100%. I agree with you. And the other part of it for me, I just think that, the hardest thing with me with Belichick is that, yes, it hasn't been that long since Brady left. But you look at what they did with N'Keal Harry. That's the one to me that's like, my God, like you screwed that one up so bad. I don't understand it. I don't know how anyone could have taken N'Keal Harry over AJ Brown or DK Metcalf. Like it just makes absolutely no sense to me. None.
Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin,
and whatever. Like, so you didn't like those guys, but you wanted a big body receiver that could jump up and make the catch. Why aren't you drafting DK Metcalf? What the hell are you doing? Like, what does N'Keal Harry give you that DK Metcalf didn't give you? Like, so that's the stuff for me where it's like, what are we talking about? And like, again, the Tyquan Thornton thing, I'm not going to hold against them too much because really look at the wide receivers that got drafted. I know George Pickens has highlight reel catches, but he's a head case. I can see them not wanting him. Alec Pierce is fine. Like maybe they should have drafted Christian Watson or whatever. But, but it's like, whatever. It didn't work out. You try to get a super fast guy and see if you could teach him, and you can't. And like, it's unfortunate that he can't play wide receiver, but he can't. But like, use him somewhere else. Let him do something else. Run him on jet sweeps. Do something. Get the ball in his hands and see what he can do.
That's just what they do in the second round, though. Like, I can't be mad for missing a second round pick when, Gronk was a guy who he was great in college, but he could have like never played football again with how bad a shape his back was in.
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo was, Division 1 AA quarterback who put up great numbers at that level, but no one knew if he was going to be good in the NFL.
Yeah.
If you go down the list of second round picks, you're either taking a big swing at somebody or you're going offensive lineman that we need help right now and we need to plug a guy in. Like, that's the history of the second round. That's what they do. They like to take swings, and that's what Kyle Duggar, a Division II player, that worked out pretty damn well. So I like the Tyquan Thornton pick. I can't be mad at because they took a big ass swing, and if he was out there catching the ball when he was running on these go routes, or if a quarterback could hit him in stride, we might be talking about him a little bit differently.
You never know.
You tweak one thing one way. So I'm not so mad at that pick, but it's kind of everything around it. They continuously miss on first round picks.
Yeah.
Christian Gonzalez is a hit, but Mac Jones is very clearly a miss. Cole Strange is kind of in and out. 1 week he's great. 1 week he's like offensively bad. It's everything around kind of the taking a swing, trying to do something new that's really been troubling to look at because if you're doing the same thing you've been doing a long time, but now it's not working, that's an issue.
Well, and I agree with you. So like the other thing with Kyle Duggar, I know you love Kyle Duggar. Don't you think that Jalen Hurts might have been a better pick in that spot?
Oh no, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
but
I love Jalen Hurts coming out. It's so funny because leading up to that draft, you were on the show
yeah,
in
we
2020,
talked
right?
about it. Yep.
Leading up to that draft, I was like, Jalen Hurts is my favorite player in this draft. I absolutely love this kid, but he doesn't fit the Patriots system, so you can't draft him. And then they signed Cam Newton, and I'm like, God damn it! If I know they were going to change their whole system, I would have said draft Jalen Hurts.
We talked about it. I remember it vividly because I remember thinking, okay, they've signed Cam Newton. Why didn't they just draft Jalen Hurts and make him the number 2 and let him sit for
Made no sense.
If you were going to draft whatever, we talked about it before, whatever quarterback you sign, whatever veteran, go and draft the mini-me in the draft because there were so many different guys in that 2020 draft. Like, I'm blanking off the top of my head, but you had like every different kind of quarterback you could have. It was Hurts. Who else? Remind me, who else was in the 2020 draft?
That was who the hell was at the top of that draft? Wasn't there a quarterback at the top of that draft?
Tua, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love.
Right.
We're talking about, Jalen Hurts, dual threat guy. Justin Herbert had the huge arm. Joe Burrow was the game manager. Tua was another game manager. Jordan Love was a guy who needed to sit for a while.
Yes.
All those different options, and you end up with none of them. Your pick was like in the 20s that year, but
23, yeah. Traded.
You weren't going to end up with the top 3, but the Hurts thing doesn't make much sense to me. They ended up hitting though. They hit with that pick. So. And
I like Kyle Duggar a lot. I mean, now the question will they extend him? They should, but will they? So, I don't know. I don't trust them to do anything.
They don't extend anybody you think they should extend ever.
Drives me up a wall. And the Cole Strange pick, and I forget who said this to me, but like, it's one of the best quotes ever. It's okay, 29, Cole Strange, fine player, sure. They draft. It's so insane to even think, dude. They drafted Ted Karras' replacement at number 29. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Just sign Ted Karras. Like, in the span
they also didn't need to draft a replacement because Shaq Mason was on the roster, but they traded him for no reason at all.
In the span of 12 months, you let Joe Tooney, Shaq Mason, and Ted Karras all walk so you could draft a guard in the first round. What the hell, dude? It was stupid. And so that made no sense for them to do that. Shaq Mason's still playing and still playing well. Joe Tooney is one of the best guards in the league still. And Ted Karras has been a solid starter for Cincinnati since they let him go. It's just
a guy who never misses a game.
Guys walk. That's it, man. You let all 3 of those guys walk, and it's like, what the hell are you doing? Yeah, and it didn't make any sense to make that pick. And of course, it doesn't help that Trent McDuffie's playing his ass off in Kansas City right now either. That the Kansas City traded up to get him. So, but whatever. Listen, if trading back. If you wouldn't have drafted Christian Gonzalez because you had drafted Trent McDuffie the year before, then I'm fine with it. I'm okay with it because now we have Christian Gonzalez, and I know he's hurt, but like he'll be fine. He's going to be a stud. But it's very frustrating. So, all right, let's take a break. We got a quick break here. We got a quick ad. When we come back, I want to just talk about the draft because I do have a mock draft coming up on Pat's Pulpit. I want to just run by the scenario with you, Keagan. I think you're going to lose your mind, but it'll be fun. So a quick ad. Here we go. We'll be back. Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. MA 21 plus and present in Mass. Hope is here. First online real money wager only. $5 pre-game money line wager required. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. GamblingHelpLineMA.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com or call 1-800-GAM-1234. All right, there you go. Man, every time I listen to that, I'm like, I was so sick when I recorded that. What the hell was I doing?
I can hear you out of breath there at the end.
Oh yeah, it was rough. I was trying not to cough so bad, so hard trying not to cough. But anyways, all right, mock draft coming out on Pat's pulpit. Here you go. Here's the scenario: the Patriots have the number 3 pick in the draft. And Keagan, I'm not going to do it to you. I'm going to say that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going in the top 2 picks, just so the Patriots aren't trading out of number 3. Because I think you might actually kill me if I trade out of the Patriots drafting Marvin Harrison number 3.
They got no one to throw on the ball, so who gives a shit?
So anyways, let's pretend, because in my mock draft I do pretend that there's a quarterback sitting here on the board, either Drake May or Caleb Williams. Take your pick, doesn't matter who goes number 1, and Marvin Harrison goes number 2. The Patriots trade out of number 3. They trade back to number 10 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, this is just where it stands after week 11, okay? Tampa Bay has number 10. They trade number 10, number 42, and their first-round pick in 2025 to move up to number 3 and draft, again, Drake May, Caleb Williams.
Quarterback.
Pick, right? A quarterback, okay? At number 10, the Patriots, needing a wide receiver, take Malik Neighbors from LSU. What do you think, Keagan? What do you think? I know you're the college football guy. Tell me what you think.
I like Malik Neighbors a lot. And I've been saving this take, so you're going to get the exclusive.
Yes.
Malik Neighbors loves to fumble the football.
Oh, God.
It's one of his favorite things to do.
Not ideal.
He's an unbelievable wide receiver. I think he's probably number 2 in this class, maybe number 3, depending on your thoughts on like Keon Coleman or somebody like that.
Yeah.
Guy hates holding on to the football. So my take, the Patriots wouldn't draft him in a billion years, so it's a waste of time. And I hate dumping water on this, but he just feels like a guy the Patriots would never draft, no matter how good he is.
Yeah.
That being said, I do like the idea of go and get yourself a wide receiver 1, recoup some ammo later rounds, and next year. Yeah, it was tough. I'm sorry. Because I think there are 2 really good options in the second round.
Yeah.
Michael Penix and Jaden Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
I really like both of them a lot. If you follow me on Twitter, you know my opinion on Bo Nix. I would rather get shot in the face than watch him play football 17 games a year. For
Agreed.
my job, like I couldn't not watch him. And I think that's some sort of punishment making me do that. But all the options around him, JJ McCarthy does nothing for me because I think he's just Mac Jones.
Yeah.
But Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Michael Penix, I wouldn't have a problem with any one of those guys, and 2 of them you can get in the second round. So if you don't have one of the top 3 picks and one of them's available, but I would say if you're going to trade back, draft a tackle like Joel Olufashanu. The kid from Arizona, who I won't learn his name until he actually declares.
Yeah, I know.
So it's tough.
So hold on, let me finish because here's one of the reasons why I drafted Malik Neighbors, because it's fun. Because I wanted my draft to be fun, and so I traded then pick 35 and pick 103 to Baltimore, who right now has the second best record. So they have the 31st pick in the draft in the first round. Because if you're drafting a quarterback, realistically, if you're drafting a quarterback, you want to draft him in the first round because you get that 5th year, right? You get that 5th year option.
Baltimore did it with Lamar Jackson.
They did the exact same thing with Lamar Jackson in 2018 when the Patriots passed on Lamar Jackson, took Sony Michel. They moved up to 32 and took Lamar Jackson. So the Patriots return the favor. They trade up with Baltimore and they draft Jaden Daniels at 31. And again, I figured, hey, it worked in Cincinnati. Why don't we put an LSU quarterback with an LSU wide receiver and let's have some fun? And so my real guy, the guy I want more than anyone is Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is not coming out this year. There's no way his dad's going to let him come out and be a second-round draft pick. He wants his son to be a first-round pick, if not the number 1 overall pick. And he has zero chance of that happening this year. I don't know if it's going to happen next year either, but at least there's a chance of it happening next year, whereas there's no chance of it happening this year.
If he's not a top 5 pick this year, he won't come out, which there's a chance, depending on what teams fall in.
Yeah.
And we've seen it before where a team is like, we love you. Please come out. We will draft you with whatever pick. But, that's like a 2% chance of happening. Right. I agree with you. Shadur is a guy that is one. Go get your money, Robert Kraft. Sell those jerseys, baby.
Right. Hell yeah.
Put the L on it. He's a leader.
Right. I love it.
But I do like the idea, the LSU. Yeah. And it's a fun storyline for sure. The Malik Neighbors thing, I just can't see it happening.
I get it. And then at 42, which the pick they got to move back, I had them taking Patrick Paul from Houston, the offensive tackle from Houston, who's a freaking monster. Yeah. And plays left tackle, and that's what I mean. So it's like,
played everywhere on the line. I think he played at 3 spots, both tackles and left guard.
So he's got some position flexibility. To me, and I don't want to get too far into the weeds as far as like what's going to look like next year, but to me, you have to re-sign Mike Onwenu and stay and leave him at right tackle, because Sidy Sow has been so good at right guard that you have to leave him at right guard. And you have a right tackle. You have a tackle. Like, leave him at right tackle.
You have a tackle you can pay like a guard, too.
Correct. And
you shouldn't forget that.
Theoretically, yes, but he's not going to get – you're right. He's not going to get top-of-the-market tackle numbers. He's not.
No.
After playing 10 games as a tackle, right? So, but he's going to get a decent contract, but he's not going to get, what's his name? The dude that plays in the Jawan Taylor money. He's not going to get that money. He's not going to get Orlando Brown money. He's going to, decent contract, but nothing crazy. Leave him at right tackle and then draft your left tackle of the future. Let Trent Brown walk. Just let him go. I like Trent Brown, but he's not reliable. He's always hurt. He's never plays. And sometimes he plays really well, and then sometimes he's like, I don't feel like playing today. And I'm all set with that, man. You can't have that. And so then your offensive line is set. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with David Andrews, but we'll see. But, then at least four picks on your offensive line are set. So,
and I've got to take Bruin on the David Andrews front. The Patriots have often done this where they'll take a guy a year early and let him sit behind a starter.
Yeah,
we saw it with James White, saw it with Dante Hightower. Hightower played early, but he still had time to learn behind Gerard Mayo.
Yep.
We've seen it across the board. I think they did that with Jake Andrews.
He
drafted him this year. He's been on the roster. He's been healthy. He hasn't played because David Andrews has been your starting center for a decade almost.
Right.
I think there's a chance that they're just going to let David Andrews walk, and they've got their center.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard anything bad about Jake Andrews. He just hasn't actually played.
Right. Because he doesn't have a position right now because he's a center, and the center's healthy and playing. So, but yeah. So that's the way it goes. Oh, look at this. We got a woman listening from Salt Lake City. I assume women. Ex-boyfriend into sports, rubbed off on me, learning much from you, and would like to learn about sports betting. Well, guess what? I'm a terrible sports bettor, but we are going to do prop bets in a little while, and you will see how terrible I am when I give you my overall record for the week. But Keegan's a good bettor, and so you'll get some good prop bets from Keegan for this week.
Well,
I mean,
terrible NFL bettor. I'm a college football bettor.
Yeah, it's fine, but whatever. So anyways, so look, I think ultimately what it comes down to is that the Patriots, we want the Patriots to win. I think it's funny because as a sports fan, and part of my take does a great job talking about this. But they'd say, leading up to the week, you say, I want the team to lose. And then the game starts and you're rooting like hell for the team to win. And then when they lose, you're like, oh, okay, we wanted them to lose anyways because, the draft pick, right? And so it's like, the life
of a Chicago Bears fan.
That's it, right? You're in this situation where it's like, I will never watch a game and actively root for the Patriots to lose. I could never do that. But before the game and after the game, I could say, hey, look, they lost and that sucks, but we're going to get a good draft pick, So at the very least, we can kind of go from there. So look, is it ideal? No. But this is the life that we're living, unfortunately, as Patriots fans. We have had a very, very long run of sustained success that is almost unprecedented. And I would say not just unprecedented, like completely unprecedented. No one's ever done it, and I don't think anyone will ever do it again to do it for that long. And so, it's unfortunately followed by a few tough years. But like again, and we try to say these things because it like makes it, there are people that are 31 years old that live in Detroit that have literally never been alive for a Lions playoff win. So like we just try to put those things in perspective. Now the Lions look really good this year, and I wanted them to win the Super Bowl so bad, but like they've lived a tortured life. If you're a Detroit Lions fan, your life sucks. If you're a Buffalo Bills fan, you've won a lot. I mean, right? Like as a football fan, maybe not.
I was gonna say, there are some doctors that grew up in Detroit.
Your life as a football fan sucks. I'm sure there are some very happy people in Detroit, and that not even in Detroit, but that are Lions fans that live great lives. But on Sunday, from the hours of 1 to 4 or from 4 to 7, your life has sucked for a long time, and that's not the case anymore, which is nice. And so, unfortunately, the Patriots have gone from, I didn't even care. The regular season was like, whatever, dude. Oh, you beat us in the regular season? Good for you. I'll see you in January. You know what I mean? Like, that was my attitude for 20 years. So, like, something had to give at a certain point. So, anyways, all right. Let's get into our final segments here because I think listen, here's where we're at. I'm just going to sum it up. If you haven't listened to I don't know why you'd be tuning in 52 minutes in. But if you haven't listened to the episode and you just randomly skipped ahead to 52 minutes, here's the recap. We want the Patriots to lose so they can get a good draft pick. We don't care who the starting quarterback is because it doesn't matter who the starting quarterback is. But again, if it's me and I'm looking at doing things from a rational standpoint, I don't know how Bill Belichick can justify putting Mac Jones back on the field unless it's we suck. We're going to get a terrible draft pick anyways. So what difference does it make? Let's just keep putting Mac Jones out there. But like to me, I would almost disagree with that and just say, well, then who cares? Put freaking Malik Cunningham in and see what happens. Like, I don't know, So, but nevertheless. All right. So let's go to, let's get into those prop bets. Okay. So the prop bets, just to update the prop bets. So Keagan, I don't know if you know this or not, but we are doing a competition. Matt and I are doing a competition. And there are some stakes here with these prop bets. Okay. The loser of the prop bet competition has to, it's so stupid, has to pass the Patriots conditioning test. For offensive linemen, not for skill players because we die. But for offensive linemen, and I'm not 100% sure what it is, but it's not easy. But like if Trent Brown can do it, I feel confident that I can do it too.
After a couple tries.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah, exactly. I got to train for it. It's not like I can just show up and do it, right?
Well, it takes Trent Brown a couple tries usually.
True. But it won't take me a couple tries because I'll be dead. If I try it, well, I guess like a few days later I could try it. That's a good point. That's good. I was thinking about doing it right afterwards. I'd die. But yes, a few days later maybe.
If you failed it the first time, you're definitely not going to pass it immediately after. I don't think that's how that works.
I'm thinking about like, wait a second, how's that going to work? But yes, it makes sense a few days later. Sure. So after 11 weeks, we picked 2 a week. I am 6-16. It's not great. It's not great at all. And Matt is 9-13. I went 0 for 2 last week. I had a Keaton Mitchell anytime touchdown on Thursday night. And I had the Dolphins team over at 29.5. I figured they'd score over 30 points. I was wrong on both of those fronts. Keegan had Lamar Jackson over 1.5 passing touchdowns. And the Vikings Broncos under 42.5, which almost didn't hit, but it did.
Wait, have you guys been picking sides and picking the total?
So sometimes we pick sides, sometimes we pick total, sometimes we pick like.
I'm just saying that's not a prop bet.
What do you mean?
A prop bet. Yeah, a prop bet is anything but the line and the total. So
and I suppose that's true. We have been picking unders. We've also been picking like over and under passing yards.
That's a prop bet.
Of course, right?
Okay.
So yes, we say prop bets, but some of them, not all of them, have been over and unders. Like sometimes we don't do that, but occasionally we will. So like Matt's done a decent amount of over and unders. I guess I've done some too as well.
All right, because I'm getting wacky. You told me prop bets. I got weird.
That's okay. That's all right. Listen, you're drafting for Matt. Matt deputized you as his official picker this week, and so draft 2 ones they're going to lose. That's fine with me because
Lucky
then
him, because
Matt gets
I'm
close.
going 2-0.
Matt gets closer to a loss. So, how do you want to do it? I think maybe I'm going to give one, and then you can give one, and then we'll go back and forth like that. How's that?
Okay.
Sound?
Yeah,
okay.
of course.
All right. So my first one is Jared Goff. Jared Goff playing on Thanksgiving. And we want, I just said, I want them to win all of their games and everything else. I'm going Jared Goff under 1.5 touchdown passes. How about that?
All right.
Well, that's going to happen, but that's my first prop bet. What do you got?
All right. So I told you before we got on, I'll explain it to the people. Everybody's got a system. Everybody's got, if you're a gambler or a bettor, you like to follow a few things throughout the season. What I've been doing is betting tight ends just up the wahoo.
Love
it. I famously, when I was a member of this show, I talked about how the tight end position is dead and how no one knows how to play tight end anymore. This year, there's like 7 rookie tight ends. They're sick. They're all awesome. Yeah. So I'm betting young tight ends this year. And on Thursday, Thanksgiving, you got to go with either a Cowboys tight end or a Lions tight end. I've been kind of wrestling between the two because I want to give you another pick that's separate from these. I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I'm going to go with Jake Ferguson, anytime touchdown. He's been phenomenal for me. Every time he is on one of the local channels up here in New England, he has scored a touchdown this season. Sam Laporta is more of a yards guy than a touchdown guy, so I wanted to give you a touchdown bet. Going to go with Jake Ferguson.
I like it.
Last week, Luke Schumacher scored. I did not bet on it. It would have drove me crazy if the third string tight end scored when I bet on the starter. So I think they're going to get back to it this week with Jake Ferguson. He's going to score a touchdown.
I like it. That's a good one. All right, my second one is completely off the wall, and I love it. I'm very excited about it, and I'm going to bet it. By the way, on FanDuel, here's what I'm going to tell you, okay? You should be on FanDuel anyways. We're sponsored by FanDuel. You got to go FanDuel.com/Boston and sign up. But on FanDuel, they have the best deal in all of sports betting, okay? They have the no sweat parlay for Thursday nights, and they've done it all year long. And the no sweat parlay for Thursday nights means you can bet $5 on 3+. It's got to be 3+ leg parlay in the same game. And you can bet up to $5. And if you don't win, you get the money back in bonus bets, and you can split like what DraftKings does that's different than FanDuel is that DraftKings gives you like $5, bet $5 on one pick. Yep. FanDuel lets you split it up so you can kind of do different things with it. It's only $5. I get that, but I can't spend a lot of money. But nevertheless, okay. So you spend $5 on a ridiculous prop that's probably never going to hit. But if it does, you win like $100 or something like that, right? If you lose, you're able to bet on other bets that might happen, might not happen, but whatever. So this is one of the ones. If I don't hit my bet on Thursday, I'm going to bet this one on Sunday. If I do hit my bet on Thursday, I'm going to use some of that money and bet this on Thursday. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Zach Wilson is a terrible quarterback. I mean, a terrible quarterback. Do you know who's worse than Zach Wilson, though?
Tim Boyle.
Tim Boyle. He's been sitting on the bench all year long as freaking Zach Wilson was starting. So I am taking the Miami Dolphins defense anytime touchdown plus 750. Give me all that money. Plus 750? I'll take it. Miami Dolphins defensive touchdown.
You're going with value too. That's a value pick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, so I got weird with this one, and forgive me. I forgot this was a FanDuel show, so FanDuel might not offer this, but This is me hoping that they do, and I believe they do because it's a normal prop.
Okay.
Have you heard of the either team to score 3 unanswered prop?
No.
So you can bet a team, or you can bet a game. You bet whether or not one of the teams will score 3 straight times without the other team scoring.
What? Okay.
And I wanted to give you a Patriots pick because this is a Patriots show. There is no chance in hell either the Patriots or the Giants are going to score 3 unanswered times. I don't even know if there's going to be 3 total scores in the game.
Right.
These teams suck. And for some reason, yes is minus 180. No is plus 135. You can make
What?
a pretty good chunk of change if you just understand how bad these football teams are at playing football.
Okay. So
I'm
no,
going no team to score 3 unanswered times, Patriots, Giants.
no to score 3 unanswered times. I love it. I love it.
These bets, and you usually find it the opposite way because, yes, unless it's a
Yes, it'd be harder to do, wouldn't it?
mismatch, like unless you're talking Miami versus Denver, obviously that game, Miami scored like 9 straight times. But if you're looking at 2 evenly matched teams, it doesn't really make sense. And this is a great bet, little tip for you guys on primetime games, because primetime games have almost exclusively gone under this year. You've probably heard that. This is a good way to make a little bit more money than just betting the -115, -110, whatever it is. You could probably get plus money on a lot of those games. So 3 unanswered time bet. It's a great one. I've kind of wrote it all year. And Patriots Giants, it works out perfect this week.
Yeah, that's definitely that's an interesting one. I'm surprised that it's such good odds for no.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they're looking at it saying that the Giants are terrible and the Giants are that bad, but like
I don't know.
the
Tommy
Patriots are
DeVito,
also that bad. Like I don't. It's not
Tommy
like
Chicken Parm throwing 2 touchdowns last week. So
it's not like the Patriots are out there killing people. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
So all right, so let's get it. We'll do trivia, and then we will do our last thing, which is this day in sports history, like we always do, and then we'll get you guys out of here. All right, trivia comes courtesy of Matt. Matt supplied this one last week. The question last week. Here's the question last week. Rob Gronkowski scored the go-ahead TD against the Giants in 2015, but which Patriots tight end got the scoring started in the game?
Buddy from the Bills.
You're correct.
I need it. What's the name? He played at Iowa.
It sounds right. I don't know if you really did, but I'm sure he did.
Scott starts with an S, right?
No, Scott's the first name.
No, Scott Mitchell was the quarterback. Who the hell was it?
He was. Oh wait, hold on. He had the same last name as the quarterback who Mike Vick replaced in Atlanta. I don't know if that's actually a hint for you or not, but
no, I know he wore number 17. That quarterback. I just can't remember the names right now. Chandler.
There it is. Nailed it. Did the hint help?
Yeah, it did. It got me there.
Okay. All right. So
some are saying former Pat's Pulpit trivia champion Keagan Stiefel.
It's quite true. So. You were a trivia champion. I suck at trivia. Although I did win trivia at school this week for the sophomore class. Crushed it.
There we go.
Went in and won trivia on a question that was over under. All right, here's the question I won on. Ready? You had to get it was what's it called style? Price is Right style. Okay. Price is Right style. I think he's right that Chris Chandler did wear 12 for Atlanta.
Yeah, now I have to look up the Falcons quarterback that wore 17.
So Scott Mitchell though did wear 17.
That's what I was thinking of because I had Scott.
So but
Steve Bartkowski, he wore 14. All right, I got to get off this. I'm going to start reading.
So here's the question. The closest without going over, how tall from ground to tip of the torch is the Statue of Liberty?
Without going over?
Without going over.
225 feet.
You would have beat me. I did win on that, but I said 216. I did 216, and the correct answer is 305. 305. Oh, wow. So there you go. Little fun fact.
I know what I'm
you.
doing, Matt.
The kids went over, and I went under. I had 216 in my head for some reason. I'm not sure why, but anyways, all right. Here's the question today, Keagan. We're going to ask you to not answer it because the chat. No, well, it's a question for the chat.
All right, I'm turning the chat off because I'm going to tell you the answer after somebody in the chat gets it.
Okay, I love it. So the question is, how many touchdowns did Tom Brady throw to Randy Moss in the final week of the 2007 season against the New York Giants? So there's your question. I like that one. That's a good one. So, all right. Do you have a moment from this week in sports history?
I do. This week, right? Not today, because I couldn't find one.
Yeah, this week is fine. Yep, this week's fine.
Good.
All right, so let's get into that, and then we'll see if anyone in the chat can get the answer. Here we go.
And now for something we think you'll really like. This week in sports history.
All right, so Keagan, you being the guest and all, I will let you go first, sir.
All right, so this week in sports history, we're only going back a few years. November 26th, 2016. Does that day mean anything to you, Pat?
Oh, I don't know. I think it does. 2016, though?
Yeah, no,
I'm going away.
Yeah, I'm going away from you. Number 10, Michigan travels to number 6, Ohio State, and plays the Buckeyes, who are fighting for a spot in the playoff. Ohio State wins 30-27. JT Barrett does cross the first down marker, does gain the first down, but people don't really believe it sometimes. They think he was tackled prior to it. He was not. Jabril Peppers was late, did not make the tackle. JT Barrett gets a first down. Game goes to overtime. Curtis Samuel scores, I believe, 3 touchdowns in the game, plus the game sealer in overtime with LeBron James in the building. He was wearing a stupid hat. That's my day in sports history.
James really wearing a stupid hat. That doesn't narrow it down for LeBron James. I like it. That's a good one. I have two. September, Jesus Christ. October 21st, 1902. Baseball's Philadelphia Athletics and Phillies both form pro football teams, joining the Pitts Stars in the first attempt at a National Football League. How about that? It's a pretty good one. And the one that has to be mentioned, absolutely has to be mentioned this week. I'm going to bring you back 11 years, almost to the day, to November 22nd, 2012. I don't know what you were doing, Keagan, but I was at my cousin's house, sitting on the couch watching this game, and Mark Sanchez goes in the backfield, tries to hand it off, but there's no one there. And so he turns around and runs directly into his center's ass, who Vince Wilfork just very kindly supplied directly in Sanchez's face, and he fumbles. Steve Gregory picks it up and runs it in for a touchdown. The infamous butt fumble, which is incredible. Which, by the way, sandwiched in between, I believe that was the first play of the drive.
Yep.
Oh, Brandon Moore. Sorry, Matt. Was the first play of the drive. Sandwiched in between I believe, 80-yard touchdown pass to Shane Vereen.
Yep.
Then the butt fumble. Then the ensuing kickoff.
Roommates.
The Jets fumbled and the ball popped in the air on the fumble.
Matthew Slater made the tackle. Yep.
That's right. And Julian Edelman just plucked it out of the air and scored a touchdown. And I'm still, by the way, I'm still mad because I had Julian Edelman on my fantasy team starting that week and did not get 6 points for that touchdown. That's just, how does that happen? How do you not get 6 points for that touchdown? It's crazy. So
I remember that play vividly because that week I had learned that Edelman and Matthew Slater were roommates. When Edelman came into the league, Matthew Slater still didn't have a place to stay. So he was like, we'll just room together. And I remember talking about it all week, being like, did you know they're roommates? Did you know these guys are roommates? And then during the game, Slater makes the tackle, ball pops up in the air, Edelman scores, and I lost my mind. Was it McCourty? I could have swore it was Slater.
But honestly couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But I believe
I remember that.
Or you. One of you is right.
Yeah. I remember one of my favorite games I've ever watched in my life. It was so patently ridiculous, every single thing that happened in that football game. Just a fever dream football game.
The Patriots on 3 consecutive plays. Well, really 4, because I think that the ensuing kick before the Sanchez butt fumble was a touchback. So it was, touchdown, touchback, fumble return for touchdown, fumble return for touchdown. It's insane. Completely insane. Patriots scored 21 points in 13 seconds or 15 seconds or something stupid like that. So, but anyways, So that was great. And Keagan, there is a correct answer in the chat. There is. Oh, sorry. Matt is correcting me and says that there was the second play of the drive. First to 10-yard pass to Clyde Gates. I don't believe that's a real person. I'm sorry. I don't believe that's a real person, Clyde Gates. So Matt, Jesus, Keagan, do you have a guess on the touchdown passes to Randy Moss in the 2007 finale? Because we do have a correct answer in the chat.
I believe it's 2. I think everybody remembers the final
Obviously
one that
the
got
last
them
one.
both the record. And I want to say he scored on like a slant in the end zone earlier in the game. And I do remember Brady. It's 2.
Yeah.
Okay, and Brady missed him on a touchdown earlier in the game.
Brady missed him on a touchdown on literally the play before the last touchdown.
Yeah, they went right back to it.
They were just like, we're just running the exact same play, and then they scored a touchdown on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was 2. Yep. Yeah. So anyway, so that's what we got. So that's it. That's the show. Keagan, man, this has been so much fun. I love having you around. Love seeing that smiling face over there. It's been a pleasure. I love the fact too that you're killing it over at NESN. Like you're crushing it over at NESN. And it's great. It's great to see.
Appreciate
I like the proud dad energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm very I'm proud of my guy Keagan crushing
my
it over
internet
there
dad, Pat Lane.
it's true. Over at NESN. So Keagan, before you go, why don't you just tell everyone, where they can read you and see you and hear you and everything else?
Yeah, right there at Keagan Stiefel on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. You can read me at NESN.com. I'm kind of a jack of all trades over there. Patriots, Bruins, Celtics, Red Sox. Not so much Patriots anymore because we've got guys handling that down at Foxborough. But I've got my hands in all sorts of cookie jars. PWHL, if you guys are into that sort of thing, they're starting something up new. I've got some stuff on the horizon for that. So just a lot of fun, cool stuff over at NESN.com and at Keagan Stiefel.
For the people, Keagan, I know what it is. For the people, PWHL. Explain it. Give them the Boston team, because there is the Boston team.
Yes, Professional Women's Hockey League.
Mm-hmm.
They do not have team identities yet. It's just PWHL Boston, and then there are 5 other teams. So they've got an original 6 going. It's actually pretty cool, the way they're doing things. They're kind of giving women an opportunity to have the platform that the men have in the NHL.
I love it.
They're doing it right. They're paying them the way they should be paid. They're treating them like actual athletes are treated in other leagues, unlike they weren't treated that way in the old league. So it's actually really cool.
Because they had the Boston Pride, but that was obviously not the
right. That league folded.
Right.
We actually have a number of NESN employees who used to play for the Boston Pride because it was basically like a men's league,
right?
With a TV deal and everything, but the players weren't getting any share of that. Now they are,
which is great.
You will see, but you might be able to catch some games on NESN in the future. But I think that's really cool. But if you're into Bruins, Celtics, Red Sox, got a ton of that stuff as well. And then a little bit of Patriots. I do opinion stuff on the Patriots. I famously said neither Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi are the answer after the Bears game. Nailed that one.
He was right.
So kind of just whatever I feel like writing.
Yep. I love it. It's great. Well, I'm proud of you. You're crushing it over there, and love having you on, and we're going to have to do it again next time with Matt with us as well. We'll do a little 3-man weave.
Absolutely.
And we'll go from there. So anyways, thank you to the people in the chat. For our new listeners, for our old listeners, for the people that are always here, we appreciate you. We love you, and thank you very much. And we will have a show after the game on Sunday. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the 3 games on Thanksgiving. We'll see what happens. I am looking forward to those 3 games. I think they'll be fun. And then the Patriots play the Giants, and they have a chance to win, or at least make it competitive, and that'll be fun. So we'll see. But anyways, thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate it, and we'll be back talking to you on Sunday after the game.